But we begin this hour with breaking news on the escalating tensions between Russia and Ukraine.
The Pentagon will be deploying approximately 3,000 troops to Europe in an effort to bolster support for other European allies as Russian troops mount along the border with Ukraine. CBS News has confirmed roughly 1,000 troops will be moving from Germany to Romania, and an additional 2,000 troops will be deploying from North Carolina to Germany and Poland. The U.S. has already sent several fighter jets and additional support to Estonia. The Biden administration says the decision to send troops is temporary and sends a message to the world that the U.S. stands with its NATO allies.
I want to be very clear about something. These are not permanent moves. They are moves designed to respond to the current security environment. Moreover, these forces are not going to fight in Ukraine. They are going to ensure the robust defense of our NATO allies.
Pentagon Press Secretary Kirby went on to say the movements are, quote, unmistakable signals to the world that the U.S. stands with our NATO allies and is ready to deter and defend against any aggression.
The decision follows Russian President Vladimir Putin speaking publicly about the situation for the first time in over a month. President Putin accuses the U.S. of attempting to draw Russia into war with Ukraine. He also blames the U.S. and its NATO allies for ignoring Russia's security needs.
CBS News foreign correspondent Holly Williams joins us now from Ukraine for more on this. Hi, Holly. So how is the U.S. increased presence in Europe being received there in Ukraine?
Well, we should point out that the broader context to this is, that the US already has tens of thousands of troops based permanently in Europe as part of its ongoing commitment to European security and global security. And as we heard just then, the US has previously ruled out sending combat troops to Ukraine. But this is very much symbolic, and it shows an American commitment to bolstering security in Eastern Europe. As far as Ukraine's response, we haven't heard anything official yet from the Ukrainian government. It's been reported in the media here, but in general, in terms of Ukraine's response to American support, whether it's diplomatic support or comes in the form of weapons, is to say thank you very much, thank you for helping us. What we really want, though, is your help in getting us into NATO.
Holly, does President Putin seem to be open to additional talks with the U.S.?
Yeah, it's interesting. So we heard him speak yesterday evening for the first time in many weeks about this crisis, and he had some very harsh criticism from the U.S. He accused the U.S. of trying to contain Russia and using Ukraine as a tool to do that. And he also said that Russia's main security concerns, i.e. Russia's main security demands, had been ignored by the US. But he also said that Russia was studying America's response to those concerns. So we know that America gave a written response to those concerns or demands last month. And he said that Russia is ready to continue with negotiations. So obviously there are lots of fears of an imminent invasion, but the diplomatic wheel's still very clearly turning.
And Holly, what more can you tell us about this leaked document that apparently suggests the U.S. could be open to easing tensions over missile deployments in Europe if Russia steps back from the border with Ukraine?
Right, so this apparently leaked document, it purports to be that American written response to Russia's security demands that was handed over by the American ambassador in Moscow last month. Now, we don't know if that leaked document that was published by El País newspaper in Spain, we don't know whether it's authentic. We can't verify it. But if it is, broadly speaking, it's not very surprising, because essentially what it does is push back at Russia's demand that there be a ban on Ukraine joining NATO. That's something that America said very publicly all along. That's something that it cannot accept, it cannot agree to, and then suggests some alternative matters that the US could discuss with Moscow, things like missile placements and arms control. I won't go into the details of it because we haven't authenticated that document, but it's not entirely surprising because it seems to go along with what we've heard from the US in public.
All right, very interesting insight there. Holly Williams in Ukraine, thank you so much.
Thank you.